Welcome to the S.J. Child Show, where a little bit of knowledge can turn fear into understanding. Enjoy the show. Hi, thanks for joining the SG Child Show. Today, I am here with Gena Sims, and I'm so excited. We've, been able to talk, and I'm looking forward to sharing with listeners and viewers the amazing service and inspiration that you are offering to this wonderful community. But before we get into that, let's get just an introduction and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lexa, Gena Sims. I run an organization called the Autism Theater Project, and it is essentially both an educational organization and especially a production company. And what we do is create productions that show the real perspectives of people in the autism community and help shift people's perspective of our community as well. And really, more than anything, make people believe in human potential and the potential of people of all abilities, and especially their own, our audiences. So that's what I do. And I work with autistic actors and writers who inspire me on a regular basis. And I'm also a performer and a sister of someone on the spectrum.
I love that. And siblings have such a compassionate presence in the world, and they bring so much knowledge, experience, and, hope for every parent that is just at the beginning of their process, especially to really help share the experiences that are good and bad. I think it's both important that we share those so that, families can learn the best way, or just have an idea that, okay, this is possible someday, or that sounds like a great thing to try. I might have, try that and have success with that. And tell us where you're at too, so we know people in your area know where to go and find you. And
Yes, I'm in Miami, Florida.
And how are you? You're good? No hurricane? Did it go past already?
Now we're good. Today was supposed to rain, but it's been pretty sunny, just windy, which is great because it's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's great. Well, when you're putting out these productions, let's start at the very beginning process of that. What does that look like? How would someone go about finding you, and then what do you coach them to do next with you?
Well, I could coach them in our classes, and I could also coach them in our professional production company. For our professional production company, because of the pandemic, I decided that we should do something virtual, something that has to do with film. So I ended up creating this web series, which is evolving into this professional quality television series. And I found the people I work with online, and they also found me online by me putting out YouTube videos about what it is that we're doing and what our mission is. And also just kind of because of how the universe works, I just found these people. So people could reach out to me by contacting us through our website, autismtheaterproject.org. That's theater with the ER, THEATER. We also do classes, and we could add you to our email list and give you updates about the in-person classes that we do. And if you would like to work on us on these productions that we are creating, we could set up an interview. Maybe you could join our internship program, or maybe you have a story that we could use in this series we're creating called The Voice Inside, based on true stories from young adults and teens on the autism spectrum. Those are the different ways you can reach out.
I love that. What a rewarding way to give back to the community. Does your brother like acting and producing? Does he do any of this with you?
I actually have a sister.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You said sibling, and I don't know why. I just went with brother. Yeah,
That's
thank you.
okay. That's okay. I should have specified. She she's definitely very theatrical. She's not a formal actress or producer, I would say. She's young. She's 17, going on
Okay.
18. And
Yeah.
she really inspired me to create something that focuses on teens and young adults, going through that phase, because I know it can be scary when parents and family members think about the future for their children who have struggled in the past. So it's been very inspiring and in some ways therapeutic for me to meet these people on the spectrum who are now, in their 20s, and hear their stories of going from being told that they would never speak or never drive to or never go to college to doing all of those things fairly quickly.
Yeah. It's so nice too when um we're now, like you said at the beginning, with what you're doing, shifting that perspective of what is possible for people on the spectrum and what is really possible for all people in humanity when they're given that um go ahead, right? When they're just said, you are valuable, you are okay. Like, what do you want to be? How can I support you? And I think it's so important that we learn how to do that more in society, as for the older adults that are going into the transitional workplace or careers and things like that. What type of support systems do you put in place for things like meltdowns, possibly?
That's a great question. Um, well, I'll start with my experience with my sister. Um, I'll just preface this saying I have a lot of respect for my sister, and she's come a very long way. I never
Yeah.
know one day she might watch this. I found with her, I had to find a balance between empathy and having the confidence that everything's going to be okay and being able to stay calm myself and not kind of have an internal meltdown while she's having an external meltdown, because then that just makes it worse. Um, and also, in a way, I had to establish an expectation. Um, Bless you. Um, no worries, no worries. In a way, I had to establish an expectation in my own mind that, okay, this is going to pass. She's going to get through this. And I think that's something that I've had to repeatedly remind myself to do. A few years ago, especially during the pandemic when I was homeschooling my sister, I would often get emotionally caught up in the fear that, oh, things aren't going to get that much better, or how are things going to get better? And I actually learned from my dad to not get caught up in all of that and stay calm and know that, okay, things are going to improve. So I would advise that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure there's so many tools that you've learned and picked up throughout your life that you're able to accommodate for those that you work with now. And just being able to give them the space, or sometimes, I recognize in my own experience in the world, if I'm aware that, someone around me is autistic, understanding that I might need to give them more time to process what I'm saying or to have answer back. And especially when I do interviews, and really being understanding of how much time a person needs, because I think that that's something in society that is so taken for granted, is that response time in a speaking and in a conversation. But it doesn't take away from the importance of what somebody has to say, because of the time you need to take to stop and listen and to make sure that they're being heard and valued and feeling safe about things. How do you kind of provide that confidence for those that might be afraid to get on stage, or do they mostly come with that understanding that that's what they want to do?
I would say it depends on, the situation we're in. Our main project, especially because of the pandemic, has been working on this series, essentially this television series, The Voice Inside. Um, so I'm thinking about my experiences with that, and then I could also refer to drama classes with younger children. I think my confidence in the people I'm working with is so important. And reminding the people I'm working with of that confidence. And again, finding that balance between having empathy. If, say, I'm working with an actor who's awesome and does awesome work, but now we're on set and he's feeling camera shy. Um, and he's starting to, or maybe an actor is worrying about lines and whether or not they can remember struggles in the past, right? I remind them, look, you can do this. I believe in you. And I'm going to be patient and understand, sometimes maybe it'll take you a little extra time depending on the day. But also will let them know it's important that you believe you can do this too. Because if you're stuck in the self-doubt, it's going to be hard for you to focus and really do your best. And I find that approach has worked.
I love that. I can say firsthand experience I've seen with a gifted child who was very academic very early on, that when we went to programs or places or he had teachers that didn't believe in him, there was this block of, well, then I'm not giving you anything. You'll get nothing from me then. And it was, he was little, like 4, 4 and 5, but it was still this air of like, when you believed in him, you could see how much he could do. And it was blow your mind incredible. But for those people who were just too caught up in what they thought he should be doing rather than looking at him for who he was and seeing what he was doing, there's just so much to be said for that. And for, I think, a great message for people to understand, like, listening and learning and energy that they feel from you and the confidence building and things like that are so, so, so important for that personal empowerment, no matter who you are, what kind of challenges you face, or what kind of support you have or need. If you have those support systems in place by therapists, teachers, parents, there's so much that you can do. What is that? How wonderful is it a feeling for you when you just watch somebody embrace those, the acting and really just get into it and take off?
It's very exciting. And I love to see them surprise themselves. I especially love them to see them surprise other people. Um, one of the main goals of ATP, as in the Autism Theater Project organization, is to raise the bar for what we think, what the culture generally thinks is possible for people who struggle, or especially people who have struggled in school, whether it's autism, dyslexia, ADHD, and I think there's a problem in society that involves people underestimating what people can accomplish after school if they've really struggled in school or even early childhood. And, there are a lot of parents worried, my child's not doing that well in 5th grade. What does this mean when they're 50, And we're really trying to shift that perspective. And anyway, back to your question, when I see these people succeed, and I see other people watch them succeed and be inspired by that. See, okay, this person had this challenge to overcome, they overcame it, and they came through with something that was very professional and high quality and worth watching. I love how I both get to see those people believe in themselves more, the people on the spectrum, and I also get to see the people around them believe in people on the spectrum more.
Oh, that is so fantastic. I mean, what a wonderful feeling. I agree. in just the summit that we had just barely had, and in just watching people come on, give their presentation and feel so proud of themselves, and seeing the audience react and be so proud of them too, and really then see them go on to do bigger and better things. And it's just like makes my heart so warm, and so thankful and grateful that we can provide these types of um elevating services to this community. I think that it's so wonderful that you have just made this like a passion for your life. And what is who are some people that might like have inspired you to do what you're doing today?
Well, definitely my sister. These are the people I'm actually working with right now. There's so many people, because really my inspirations come from my experiences in the autism community, both with people with autism, the people I first started teaching when ACP, the Autism Theater Project, was just a community service project when I was in high school. People I started teaching in those drama classes, one of which is now an actor in our series, The Voice Inside. Just all of them, and also family members and people at grocery stores, both the people who responded to the people who responded to my sister in very positive, embracing ways, the people who maybe didn't seem like they understood her, or maybe didn't really seem to get it. I guess I was inspired by that entire experience, growing up with my sister. And actually a big inspiration, now that I remember, my main inspiration actually to actually start this project was my acting teacher in high school, who did drama therapy sessions with women in prisons.
Oh, wow.
And she would put on these shows with women in prisons, and she was just amazed by how much they would share, and how impactful these performances were from people that we tend to not try to empathize with, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something like that, something drama therapy related, and that led me to end up doing the drama classes for people with autism. Obviously, a very, very different demographic, but I'm interested in hearing from the people who are not usually heard from.
Yeah, I love that. I couldn't agree more. I feel the same way. Exactly. I think it's so beautiful, and there's so much you can learn, from listening to those who have been quieted, if you will, or haven't been able to have a voice and can now feel safe and comfortable. And I bringing that up, I'm glad that I said that word so that I could remember what I had thought before, but something so simple. I love that you said this, a grocery store. And I can't tell you, because you take it for granted, right? You go to the grocery store, you get your stuff. How many times do you go? So many times in your lifetime. Oh my gosh, right? Now being able to, my son's 13, academically, he's like 25. But right here today with life skills and things, we're working at maybe, an 8 or 9-year-old level. And going to the grocery store has both been horrible and wonderful, in that that's where a lot of the sensory overloads have been experienced because of all the things. But also because we've gone to the same place for a decade, that's where, just like you said, I am so inspired by the people who are still there, who have known him since he was a baby, and who are constantly get emotional, like reaching out to him and letting him be himself and letting him show up as himself. And even if he's struggling, letting him get the groceries down off the shelves or scan them and bag them. Those are such things that we take for granted as people who can do it every day and not have a problem with those skills. But for him, it's so much growth. And the people who see it and are inspired by watching us do that, and it's something that you just don't think enough about, the grocery store attendants, but how important they are in your life on a regular basis. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. And sorry, I cried about it, but it
all
is
good.
so
I
beautiful. Yeah.
It's all good. I understand.
Yeah.
That's actually making me think about how it is a big deal and something I shouldn't take for granted, that now I feel like going to my sister with the grocery store, I expect to be a positive experience. And there was a lot of work that especially she put in, and that her therapist and my family and a lot of people put in. And I'm starting, you were telling that story and I was remembering when that was an issue, and that actually wasn't that long ago now that I think about it. Um, yeah, it's all those little things, the little growth that's the little things that aren't actually little things, they're actually big things.
Mm.
The wins, all of that has inspired me, has taught me so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you always loved like dance and theater? Has that been something that's been a personal interest for you in your life growing up?
Yes, yes, for sure. um when I was little, I would dance and do the ballet classes, and my parents said I had a very dramatic bow. And I would like try to outshine the other people. So I liked the attention. Um, and growing up, I ended up loving theater. I always loved storytelling, especially. I loved writing. Um, so what's been wonderful, especially about this series that ATP has been creating, The Voice Inside, is I've gotten a chance to put my love of storytelling and my passion for my experiences with people with autism, and also just people who have been unheard, so to speak. Um, and I also act. I act in the series a little bit. I've been able to put all those things together. And I love music. I've always loved singing. So yes, those part of my life.
What representations in society now do you think we can do a better job at displaying in movies and things and TV shows?
I would say what we could do is really show the perspectives and the potential of different types of people, just in general, but specific to autism, different types of people on the spectrum. We've definitely seen the kind of the genius who's doesn't necessarily make a lot of eye contact. It doesn't seem like they're that into socializing. And that's one person, that could be one person on the spectrum, but there are so many other different types of people on the spectrum. What we really want to do with our series, The Voice Inside, is show that people who didn't grow up necessarily being the gifted autistic person do have gifts, and then can end up discovering those gifts later on. And that's the story of a lot of the people I've been working with who are on the spectrum to create this series. And then at the same time, there's also different aspects of life we could show for the people who are gifted. I know your son is incredibly gifted, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I kind of have like all of the spectrum in my house.
And I think it would be wonderful for people to see both these people achieve what it is that they were meant to achieve through those gifts, and also have victories in other areas of their lives that may have been more challenging in the past. So we can see a well-rounded person, instead of having shows that mainly just focus on, oh, this is a gifted person that has a specific condition, you know?
Yeah. No,
And
I can.
also, no, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just agreeing.
And also, I think it would be wonderful for the industry to continue to explore actors on the spectrum and working with people who actually are on the spectrum and having them play these characters. Because from my experience, it's just been very profound to watch an actor on the spectrum be comfortable enough to show things like meltdowns. We do have that in our series. Things that this person has had some experience with, gain the confidence to be able to do that and have these breakthrough moments where they realize, okay, showing all of the aspects of what I have experienced doesn't make people see me as less than. A quick story I have is that one of our actors was at first very hesitant because the writer I work with, who's also on the spectrum, he wanted to show the reason why he would have the meltdowns that he has through our series, The Voice Inside. And The Voice Inside is called The Voice Inside because you hear the voice inside the main character's head. So you're able to see why. And that was a major thing he wanted. Oh, thank you. And I really wanted to show that too. And we also show how that character is able to eventually overcome a lot of those meltdowns and not have them as often. And the actor we worked with, who was wonderful, and at first was a bit hesitant because he was afraid, oh, people are going to think I'm crazy. People are going to think this is how I am in real life, but I don't really deal with this now. And we were explaining to him, people are going to respect the authenticity you bring to this role. And then when it was time for us to do the scene where he had to do a meltdown in front of a large crowd, and we had extras there, he did it. He committed to it, which was great. And then later on, one of our extras emailed us and said, oh, I was so amazed by this actor's performance. And that totally shifted how the actor saw being authentically, authentically autistic. I hesitate to say that because I know everybody with autism has a different experience. On screen, how that's not going to make people think less of him. That's going to make people really be inspired by him, and people are. So
I love that. And oh my gosh, what about parents? Let's talk about some parent feedback that you might have been given over the last little while.
Yeah. Well, this actor's mother, the mothers of all of our actors, we're working with several actors on the spectrum in this professional production. She was moved by how we were telling the story of someone who was struggling in the school system and trying to find their confidence when they didn't really feel like the school system was giving them the confidence that they wanted. And she was really moved by that story and ended up introducing me to a lot of other people who had that experience. And the mother of another young actress who's a teenager, her mother was very excited to see her blossom, and she really loves the experience. This actress, Fiona, I'll say her name, Fiona, has been in my classes before. And one of the things we do is this I can do it chant. And Fiona has taken this I can do it mantra and taken it into her daily life. Yeah, so her mother's, grateful for that. And also for the adults that we work with, we've been fundraising to be able to give them stipends for now. And we want to create a job for them through this series. And we're really hoping that this becomes an ongoing series and we get the funding so they can really make money off of this. But we're able to give them stipends for now because they put in a lot of hard work. And a lot of times the parents were surprised. And I was like, well, I'm working with an adult who's doing professional work, and I have very high expectations. So it's only fair for me to pay them, So yeah, that's been our response from parents.
I love that. It's so rewarding to be what's the word I'm looking for? To get something from your value, to see that yourself and to know, wow, like I've earned this on my own. I've worked hard. And I bet that puts a lot of confidence into working harder and getting better, practicing. And I know that, um, you know, fixating on things can be something that is a good thing, right? When you are able to do it, probably with scripting and things like that. What type of coaching tools do you offer for someone who might be dyslexic?
I will say I'm not an expert in dyslexia, but I've worked with a student who had dyslexic tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
I think my sister would be okay with saying this. Whenever I'm thinking, I'm always thinking, okay, would my sister be okay with me saying this? Because she might watch it. But she's had some dyslexic tendencies, and throughout the homeschooling process, reading was a big thing that my sister and I were focusing on. And that's where I discovered, she'll see that and then read that. Sometimes she's reading backwards. And for us, following the line with her finger has helped. Spelling, she loves spelling. Right now, we're actually doing a modified version of Scrabble, and then eventually we'll teach her full Scrabble, where she has the letters and they're scrambled up, and she has to unscramble them to create a word that makes sense that she knows. And that's helped because sometimes she'll put the letters in the wrong order, and then she has to go back and fix it. Um, so yeah, I think spelling out loud has helped, and just practice. And she did get to a point where she really enjoys reading. She enjoys reading out loud, even though she has speech difficulties. But that being said, I'm no expert.
Love that though. No, I think that is so great. And I love that you said the Scrabble thing, because I mean, the universe just put us right where we're supposed to be at the right time. Just today, somebody at the Neurodiverse podcast, I think it was the host, had posted like, what are some ideas that you've learned at home to get over some challenges and things? And a couple of things, the same thing I learned were using Scrabble letters to help, and doing the same things, mixing words up, or having him write a sentence out or whatever it was with the Scrabble letters. And also, this is for younger kids, but we would do Minecraft for math, like adding the blocks. Or I think that's such a good way to give kids their interest and help build up their challenges when you're doing that, is to kind of engage in those inner activities that they love to do. So we always did that. But the Scrabble, that totally brought that back to me. Yeah, I loved doing that with my kiddos.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about Minecraft. I've definitely heard of it. Is it just
I'm exposed to it. No. Yeah, it's like it's I wish I could understand how to explain it better, but it's basically like an interactive, like a role playing video game or whatever, where they build things just with different types of elements and blocks. And so the building blocks, they'll like build a house or build a horse or something like that. But instead we were doing like, adding 1, 2. And then oftentimes our son would go on there and he would do math problems. Like they have little signs that you could make, and he would put a sign up and they would do a math problem on the sign, and then go back and figure it out. So just fun ways that they can do the things they love and add the things that they need to be learning or helping them with in their lives, just like those life skills at the grocery store, right? We just kind of add things on where we can to help build those types of confidences. What about do you have any like AAC device users or non-speaking people that you've worked with in the past or now?
I have worked with people who seemed non-speaking in classes in the past. And then I would work with them. And then over a few weeks, they would maybe speak a little bit as they would get more comfortable. I
Yeah.
think they already had the skill, but just at like within the first class or two, it would seem like they're non-speaking.
Mm.
Um, and I've also worked with students who I may have worked with over the summer, and then this was when I was in college, so I would go to college and come back in the winter, and now they're speaking. So things get better over time with therapy and patience. As far as using the AAC device, I haven't worked with people who use that much. My sister is using it a little bit for the purpose of learning speech. I think more so than
Mm.
really using it for communication. She's
Yeah.
limited verbal, so she's blessed with the ability to speak. Um, I have, while I was doing research for this project, I did come across a book and several articles about non-speakers who spell,
Mm.
who are like really academically gifted and they don't speak at all, but they're able to type and write out their thoughts and everything. And I did get in contact with one of them who I would like, you reminded me, I'd like to get back in touch with them. And I do want to feature non-speaking characters and possibly even non-speaking actors in the voice inside eventually. But it was incredible hearing the story of this woman whose son is not speaking, but who types. Her son has epilepsy and has a lot of
Mm.
physical challenges, but she learned when he was able to start typing that his academic and his mental abilities, at least when it comes to being verbal, are actually very strong. He just doesn't have the physical ability to speak. Um,
Wow.
and it was amazing hearing her story of discovering this when he was around 16, 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she says she knows a whole bunch of people who have this same story. So
Mm.
that's the thing. I mean, you never know what genius is inside of people.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that the truth? I love that you said that because I think that everybody has that potential. It's just how it comes out in the world that we have to pay attention to. And it's not even about them needing to be loud or expressive or, it's about us as parents and as caregivers and as siblings and as, service providers in the community to pay attention and to be showing them that I see you and I value you. And like, I want, to help you and support, elevate this thing or whatever that you love. So yeah, what a wonderful passion and what a wonderful day to like have every day for you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Love
it's
that.
great. It's great.
Yeah.
And I definitely have been working with some very inspiring, very motivational people. So they keep me thinking, okay, how can I maximize my own potential in the way these people have?
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad that we were able to get together today. And before we go, I definitely want to say, like, if there are any people that can help with fundraising or help you in any way and support what you're doing, let us know again where to find you and where to go and to support you. And for those who are autistic and are actors or into, wanting to find out more about how you can be a part of this, please listen to the next part so that you can find the information. Of course, it'll be in the show notes as well.
Awesome. Yes, you can go to our website, www.autismtheaterproject.org. That's theater spelled Theater. If you would like to donate, that would be wonderful. There's a donate button on our homepage at the top left-hand corner. You can donate through PayPal. If you would like to contact us to get involved in any way, shape, or form, whether as an intern, to audition as an actor, or to maybe see if we could do a drama class at your location, you can go to the contact page of our website, contact us page, and send a message. And we're also on YouTube. So you can follow us there. We'll be putting out a trailer for our series, The Voice Inside, fairly soon.
Wonderful.
Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/c/Autism Theater Project. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Autism Theater Project.
Wonderful. One great places to go and follow and support. And I really look forward to see The Voice Inside, of course, but all of the other things that you create on this beautiful mission and project that you are on. So thank you so much for doing such a wonderful service for the community. And I'm sure that your sister and your family are so proud of you. So yeah, it's just great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so nice to get to talk to you today and get to learn more about you in this the Autism Theater Project. So listeners, please go and follow everywhere. If you can give a donation, please do. This is such a wonderful, wonderful thing to give and to really know that you're giving something that is adding value to society. So please do so if you can. Gena, it was wonderful to get to know you, and I can't wait to stay in touch for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.